Good evening, everyone. I'm your evening host, Jaideep at Adore. Before we dive in, let me give you a quick glimpse into Adore. Adore is a global network of students and young professionals like yourself, all passionate about inspiring you to make a positive impact. We connect you with stabilized professionals and offers a platform to learn from their journeys. Now, on behalf of Team Maverick and Adore, we are thrilled to welcome you to this webinar on choosing the right career path. To make this session more engaging, we kindly request everyone to switch on their cameras. Uh, and now, the moment we all have been waiting for, our esteemed guest speaker for tonight is Mr. Tinashe. Mr. Tinashe has expertise in corporate quality assurance, control, research, and development, product development, new business development, regulatory affairs, personnel with more than 10 years of experience in pharmaceuticals, food, cannabis, and chemical field. He has also worked in private and public listed companies approved by MCAZ, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Trade and Industry, among other regulatory agencies, and currently medical cannabis industry quality assurance manager. Mr. Tinashe, it's true honor to have you with us today. We are all eager to gain valuable insights from your expertise. Mr. Tinashe, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. And I hope you guys, everyone is okay. Thank you for a warm introduction. I hope we just have a very good evening. I'm sorry for a bit of a glitch that I had on my internet this side, but I hope everyone is hearing me loud and clear. Okay. So I think much about as an introduction, much has been said. I think we'll go straight into our presentation for today. Please, if I lose you or if you lose me, please let me know so that we can quickly catch up with each other. So I think first page of my presentation, you see there's a man there with question marks and there's some main arrows that are going in different directions. So this is basically what we always find every day in our lives in terms of choosing a career path. You have a lot of questions, there are a lot of directions, there are a lot of opportunities that are on our way, and you are not even sure which career path to choose. So in any form and type, one way or the other, we get to a time in life where we have this, we behave or we are like this man who is not sure whether to go left, right, upwards or vertical or horizontal. So basically that was me or you at one point in life until you made a decision to follow a certain career path. So this is what we'll try and discuss in this webinar today. And please feel free to ask questions even in the chat group so that we can address them at the end of this session. Maybe, Jay, we can go to page number 2 of the presentation. My page now is slide number 2 on what is a career path. So that's by definition. And so in this slide, we're talking about, we want to define what is a career path and the importance of choosing a career path. So a career path refers to the sequence of jobs, roles, and experience that an individual pursue throughout their professional life. It is the journey one takes in their career, starting from the entry-level positions and progressing towards higher level, often in a specific field or industry. A career path involves the development of skills, knowledge, expertise in order to advance and achieve personal and professional goals. It typically includes opportunities for growth, promotion, and specialization, allowing individuals to build a fulfilling and successful career. So choosing a career path involves a lot of consideration, like one's interests, their strength, their values, their long-term aspirations. So in this, I just want to put it to you that a career path and an education path are two different things altogether. So if you go on that slide, you see like a career path, it's where you say you start as a recruitment consultant, then you become a team leader, you go to a branch manager, you go to a location manager, you go to a regional manager, you go to a regional director, associate director to a position of a director. That's a career path. For an education path, it's basically where someone starts from, say, primary school education to secondary to maybe you get a diploma or a degree. So a career path involves it's an evolving sequence of jobs, roles, and experience that an individual is to pursue throughout their professional life. So it's not a one day thing, it's a journey that you have to take into your career. So you start somewhere where sometimes they call it in different countries like entry level positions, or they call it shop floor positions. Then you progress towards higher level roles, and it might be a specific industry, it might be a specific field that you want to follow. This what makes a career path, and it's very important when choosing a career path to actually have a consideration of your interest, because your interests, your strength, your values, and your long-term aspirations can affect the way the path that you may choose. So I can give an example of, say, values. If you have values to say, uh, I believe in this or I believe in that, your values in A and B. So it means also your career has to follow those values. So if you are, say, you have values around tobacco, to say you don't see yourself understanding the issues of, like, you don't want people to use tobacco. So then working in the tobacco industry then becomes a problem. So your values then have to become actually of importance in considering your career path. You cannot work in an environment where your values and the career that you have chosen are fighting every day. Important. So you will see that as we go down there, you find how these things becomes important, especially say you choose a career at the age of 25 and you're working in a field that you never really had. Your values and your career has been fighting all this time. You won't even enjoy your life, you won't even enjoy the workplace, you won't enjoy anything about that career. So values, it becomes very important. What's your long-term aspirations becomes very important when choosing a career path. So I'll quickly go to slide number 3. So in this slide, I'll talk about how a career path can impact your personal and professional life. So basically, like I was saying, you find out like if you chose a career path that has some significant difference between the values that you have, the values that you hold, and a professional life that you are following. Most of the times, then you find out issues like financial instability, social relationship breaking. Like you go home, you are a family man. You go home, you have social responsibilities as home. You enjoy your work, you don't enjoy your workplace, you have fights even at home, you carry your problems from work to home, and ultimately these a lot of times even affect the way you live even at home and in the community. So it's very, very important to then understand how a career path that you choose can affect your personal and professional life. I think most of the times, sometimes you may want to be influenced by, say, how much this career is actually giving in the market, and forget about the stresses that career path can introduce in your life that may really also trigger and affect your social relationships, like your family life. So you choose a career path that takes allows you to work, say, 24 hours a day, and maybe 3 months you're away from work, you're away from home. And eventually there are problems that then be created by that such kind of a career path. So it's very important to understand how this path can actually affect your personal and professional life. Can you take me to slide number 4? So it's very important in this case now to actually have a self-assessment in choosing a career path. You can't just jump into a career path just based on following friends or following an article that you read and how much that thing is paying or how much this career is actually. I think I have a lot of friends that enjoys, like, I want to be an engineer because a friend has been an engineer. I want to be this because my family members has been that. I want to be a doctor. And you don't really understand your strengths. You don't identify your interests. So you want to be a medical doctor, but you're not even interested in people. You don't want to see even blood, and you choose something like that. it will affect you even along the way. You'll find out you become misaligned with your life in a way of trying to get satisfied with your job. So you need to actually sit down and do a proper self-assessment before you even choose a career path. It's very, very important to actually do a proper self-assessment. A proper assessment that you need to sit and understand yourself better. Check, like do a SWOT analysis of some sort. What's the strength? What's your interest? What's your value? What's your personal traits? What affects you? What's your relationships? What's your goals overall? Are you satisfied with that? What do you call success? Define all those things before you choose a career path. Without a proper self-assessment, most of the time you eventually fall in a career path that may affect you. You may fall you may fall that may not give you satisfaction. Yes, you are earning millions of dollars a year, but unfortunately, you can't enjoy that money because of the social aspect where your family is broken down. So these are the things that you also need to actually check when you are doing a self-assessment. You can go to slide number 5. Okay, so on the internet of self-assessment tools and exercises you can actually try and follow. Their personality tests, their interest inventories, their skills assessments. You can choose any of those ones and try to assess yourself, ask yourself difficult questions. If you don't find answers to those questions, it's a good point where you then begin to really reflect and say, am I choosing the path that will get me to where I want to go? You can actually look at all those self-assessment tools and exercise and begin to question yourself and begin to fit your interests and begin to fit your personality, begin to fit your values into those things. If you see that you are falling short in some of those things, then you begin to actually see and make, say, a list of things that you feel like, okay, I know this career path, this will be affecting me, this will affect me. I think all those tools, I think currently I've tested myself on 5 or so out of those 8 on this. It's quite exciting. You can try it as an individual at home to just see, like, if you do a personality test, what happens? Who are you? Which careers can align with the personality that you have? Which career is not aligning with the personality that you have? So before you even fall into a career, sometimes where it would be a point of no return, where you have a career and now you can't turn back. Say maybe you are 40, you want to try and change your career at 40. It will be so difficult. It can be good when you maybe say you are 20, you are 50, you are 25. But there are some times where it's a point of no return now. Because now to go back, say you have reached the ceiling, say you're now the director in certain as a career, say a pharmacist, you are now a quality director or you are for you to then go into insurance, it means you have to enter labor again and you are 40. So the chances of you actually pursuing that will be difficult. So it's actually advisable to actually do these self-assessments. You do this exercise and genuinely answer these questions on your own. You can actually ask even people that you stay around with. You can look for a mentor. You can do a lot to try and make sure that before you choose a career, you've exhausted everything. You've exhausted everything. We can move on to slide number 6. So it's quite significant to identify these things. Very, 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 very difficult. I know it's quite difficult to actually identify your personal interests. I think one of the things is because it could be sometimes difficult because we're not really like trained to understand or to do those things on our own. So because of that, sometimes you find out like the tendency is we make shortcuts. You don't want to really like ask questions like, what exactly are my personal interests? What exactly do I value? Do I value life or death? Which skills are in me? What are my strengths? So in most times, the easier is you just follow maybe what my parents did or what my brothers did or what my sisters that are before me did or what happens in our family. Which kind of jobs do we really like we are good at as a family. Don't look at yourself. So it's quite significant that you need to really identify these things before you choose a path. Very, very important to actually understand before you choose anything. that you call a career for yourself. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so the other way we can do it, you're just doing some kind of research and exploration. You just do a lot of research about careers. I think growing up, there used to be a lot of books in primary schools where they were sent, and they would just have a lot of guys who chose different careers, and they would give these things to kids so that they can understand that what's the role of a scientist, what's the role of a banker, what's the role. So there are many resources that are online. You actually go and visit career websites. You can actually use networking. You can actually use informational interviews. You explore. You just go online and check. These days, the information is so much on the internet. You can actually look what roles does this job mean, potential career paths from this maybe a path that I want to take. You have to research and exhaust. You can't just be following, especially when the information is on the fingertips. You Google about the career. You Google about people who made it in that. What were their strengths? What were they doing? What made them unique? Are you the same in terms of their strength? Do you have the same values with them? It helps you not to choose the wrong career path. So research and exploration, very, very important. Very, very important in choosing your career path. You can move on to the next slide. Okay, so one way of also doing it is just goal setting. I think we've had a lot of presenters talking about goal setting, where you need actually to come up with goals. So goals, they have to be smart. By smart, I mean they have to be specific, they have to be measurable, they have to be achievable, they have to be relevant, they have to be time bound or time based. You can't be setting goals that are not specific. You have to make sure that your goals are very specific. Make them very narrow, and this makes even work easy for you to actually do some kind of effectiveness in even your planning. So your goals have to be very smart. What kind of a career? What are the milestones in this career? If I say I reach the point of saying now I'm a director, is it the milestone that I want? Or if I want to say I'm a manager, is it the milestone that I want? So put measure, they have to be measurable. If you can't measure your goals, then it's not really a good goal. Or maybe you failed on your goal setting. They have to be achievable, they have to be relevant, they have to be time based. You can't have a goal that is going forever. Maybe your goals have to be 5 years based. To say, okay, in 5 years time, I want to be maybe 5 years time I want to be a manager. In 5 years time, in 10 years time, I want to be a director. And maybe in 15 years time, I want to be a shareholder. It has to be time based. You can't just be saying one day I want to be like this without in terms of what's the actual time that you want to achieve those goals. So I think much has been said in goal setting, but they have to be smart, very much smart. Align those goals with your personal values and aspirations. You can set your goals as short-term goals or long-term goals. You can make your goals like 50 years. You can make your goals like 20 years. Then you can break them into, say, year. You can break them again into months. You can break them into week. So your goals, you have to go on goal setting. You can't run away from goal setting in your career path. Make sure that you set your goals and they are proper. Ask, even have mentors that can help you even goal setting, because sometimes these goals may not really like be very achievable, but maybe mentors can help you to actually have these goals that are achievable. Okay, so there's skills development in the education. There's also a need for continuous learning and skills development in today's dynamic job market. You have to actually, there's value in the value of education, certification, and professional developments and opportunities. You can also actually engage yourself in online courses, workshop, mentorship programs. I love one man who is called Alvin Toffler. Alvin Toffler is quite known for this statement where he says, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So what he was trying to say is the information is everywhere. All you need in terms of in your career, you need to learn and unlearn some things and relearn again. You can't be sitting. things are moving fast in this 21st century. Everything is so fast. So sometimes you can not sit in a career for the next 5 years and think that you are still relevant. You find out one day you wake up, your job has been overtaken by something. So skills and development is very important. So even in your career path, you then need to be very particular with what's going on in my industry, what more even education that I can engage myself in, what more certifications I can do. So professional development is very, very important even in a career path. You can't sit forever and say, uh, what I know is everything. So this is the statement. Please, it's very, very, very important that you, in your career path, at any stage of your career, you need to learn and learn and relearn. Thank you. Let's go to slide number 10. Okay, so these are some of the considerations for decision making. I know decision making is quite difficult naturally. So when you are making any decision then on your career, these are some of the things that you need to consider. Some of the factors. Obviously, salary becomes one of those big issues. I think that's one that attracts us mostly. Before you even think about your work-life balance, sometimes you are just thinking, I'll be earning this in US dollars or this in this currency. So yeah, you have to consider also some of those things like how much am I getting in terms of salary? What's the work-life balance? Stuff like job satisfaction and growth opportunities. There's some careers where in one step you just reach the ceiling. So in the next 5 years, there's nothing that you want to improve because you've already reached your ceiling. So when you're choosing careers, also make it a point to say, what are the opportunities in terms of growth? Can I move from one point to the other? Or if I get to the QA manager position, that's the end. Or if I get to the position of general manager, that's the end. What also is there on top of the position of a QA? So growth opportunities is quite important. You don't need a career path where you say in the next 5 years you've reached your ceiling. There's no more job satisfaction there. There's no more growth there. So it's things that you need to make uh, decide. It's considerations that you need to know to decide before you actually engage in the career path that you may of your choice. Also, personal preferences, the lifestyles, and future trends. It's important to actually understand the future trends. Read around. Okay, I'm a chemist. What's happening in this industry? What will be happening, say, in the next 10 years? Possibly, I'll be replaced by robots. Possibly, this AI will be replacing even my role as a secretary in this organization. So it's those things that you need actually to make sure that you understand um, before you make a decision for a career. You can't even think that you say in the next 5 years, the whole profession or the whole career has been replaced by something else. Think of secretaries that used to type minutes and notes for general manager also. I think now a manager can actually sit in their office, they have their recorders, AI can type in minutes for them. So those are the kind of careers that you don't want. So look at the future trends also. It can actually help you to say in the next 10 years, this profession is dead. This profession won't be available or this profession won't be paying. So it's those the things that you need to consider. Obviously, money, yeah, salary is quite important. You need a career, a profession that pays you, that pays you. You need such. Yes, you can go to slide number 11. So I emphasize again, seek guidance and support. Now it's important to go. There are people that have gone before us, the people that we call mentors. They can help you. They have information. You don't want to walk in a place where these guys have walked. They can actually, you don't really need to reinvent the wheel. They can actually tell you, like, no, this route that you're taking, it will cut short here and there. So seek guidance and support. It's they also like networks, friends. Join professional associations. Get people to understand even your concerns. Talk, share with others. Seek counseling. There are many people in your field. Your field is not like it started today. There are people that have gone ahead of you. Even reading around the lives of those people, you find out that you learn a lot in terms of choosing a path. You don't want to fall in a path where in the next 5 years you find yourself redundant. So it's very important to seek guidance from real people. Sometimes the tendency to seek guidance from the internet, from someone who was writing, maybe they're not even living that kind of life. Look at the people that are in your community, ask them, ask them. Get mentors. Mentors are very important in your career path. If you're choosing a career, you need mentors. The beauty with mentors is they help you not to walk where they walk. They know which turn to left, which turn to take. So it will help you to even escalate in terms of your career growth, because you do not then need to think down into what they went through. It's important then to have mentors in your career path. Let's go to chapter slide 12. Okay, so conclusion. After having said all these things, you have to take action and start exploring your career path. You have to take action. You have to hear and do. Try some exercises. Check on issues of personality. What do you value? What are your values? What are your traits? What are your strengths? You need to take action now. They say the time to eat a frog is now. If you want to eat a frog, you have to eat it now. So start now. Take action. Begin to explore a career path that you want to go in. Understand the benefits that are there, the merits that are there, the demerits that are there. It's very, very important to take action. You can begin to take notes now. You can begin to follow lives of people that say one day you are thinking these are people that I want to follow their path. Read around those people's lives. Seek audience with people like that. Ask them. You can even write to them to say, I want to be I want to be mentored by you. Some people are so generous; they can actually mentor you and help you. And even in the process, you begin to see like, oh, I didn't realize that I have also these skills. I didn't realize that I'm also good at this. So the time to take action is now. Start now exploring whatever you think you need in your life, which path you can try. Especially when you're young, you can try, you can fall and start again. You try this and realize, no, I don't like this. You can start again. You don't want to realize after 20 years in a career, in a profession, that you don't like it. I think as young people, you can start now, explore now, make some adjustments now because you still have time. But for all the people, yes, it will be actually difficult to change a career at the age of 40. Yes, you can do that, but sometimes times then it becomes a factor. So I think my presentation ends here. I'll take questions.
Yeah. Um, Thank you, Mr. Tinashe. I request the participants to submit their doubts and questions in the chat box, and Mr. Tinashe will answer them accordingly.
Tinashe, there are some questions in the chat box.
Okay, so there's a question from Vansi that says, what are the key factors to consider when choosing a career path? So I've touched on those ones. Obviously, you need an issue to understand who are you. Personality issues. What's your traits? What's your skills? What's your strength? Those are the factors that you need to sit down and begin with. Who are you? What are your values? Because these things then have a significance and an impact in your personal and professional life. You can't run away from those things even in your professional life. So you find out sometimes in the industry there are people that are 20 years experienced in this kind of a profession, but they don't like it. They don't love that because they realize late that their traits, what they value in the profession that they choose is wrong, or it's not even going in the same direction. So yes, finance is and job satisfaction and work-life balance are some of those considerations that you can make. But they are primary and secondary to what I can actually say and understand. The primary being personal strength, your strengths, what you value, what's your interests. Those are the things that I can safely say you can actually say are factors that you consider. But obviously, yes, money is also part of it. Work-life balance is also part of it. There's a question from Aman, what says, how can someone balance their career aspirations with financial consideration? Yeah, good question, Aman. Good question. Financial considerations, career aspirations, very common to many of us. How do you balance this? Well, you know, it's a catch-22 situation. It's a catch-22 situation. You you look at the money that this career or this profession can give you, right? It's obviously maybe it pays you more. But here's the catch. That career path can take you to one step and then you reach your ceiling in that profession. The profession where you just one step into your profession, just after the entry level, you reach a ceiling. So it's just a matter of then choosing between your profession or a financial. But the tendency is if you are at one point for more than 20 years, 10 years, yes, you can be getting the financial benefits out of it. But look, sometimes you don't like what you are doing. You're just doing it for the sake of duty. You're just doing it for the sake of duty. I would advise, say, let's say choose a career path that can actually, there's growth in your career path. So growth in your career path is also, say, it's like you have growth in your career path at the same time there's also growth in your financial benefits. I think that's what I can say. Choose a career that is growth, and also the growth in that career also is some growth in your financial status, financial benefits. That's what I can say. Because sometimes, yes, you can have a career, a profession that is quite paying, but look, one step into that career, you've reached your ceiling, and everything becomes monotonous, everything becomes boring. There's no more a real you. You don't want such kind of a career uh, choice or a career path. There's also another question. How important is it to obtain certification or additional training for certain careers? Yeah, it is very important. I think in every profession, in every career, it's important to actually add on whatever. So you find in different nations, in different places, there are levels like you go up to say your first degree, maybe a second degree. But obviously, those are part of the things that you can actually do. You can also do some certifications, like you say for engineers, you can actually join the certification body where you are certified. You do some trainings apart from the first layer of education, which is maybe your first degree or second degree. It's important to obtain the certification. Very important because skills are changing each and every day. There are some skills that have become so redundant. There are some skills that have become so redundant. Maybe you're very skilled in using um, a certain equipment, and for some reason that equipment has been actually abolished, or that equipment is fine, no use anymore in this. So it's important to actually understand what's going on in your industry in that, because also you find out a lot of industries they take people based we have relevant knowledge. Someone who graduated 20 years ago and they never had any other, maybe say, certificates on top of whatever they've done, you find it so they become so redundant. You can't really even in your company want to employ such. So it's very important then to obtain certification and additional training for careers. Yes, there's some careers, but it's not like there's some career that you don't need to do this. I think all careers, all professions, you need to have additional training. You can't run away from the change that is happening in the world. The world is becoming a VUCA world. It's so volatile and there are ambiguity. So you need to be very cautious in your career to say you don't want to wake up one day, you are 50 years behind other people in the same profession with you. So yes, it's important to obtain certifications. Very important. There's a question from Shiva. Okay, so the question is, if our career path is affected by some layoffs or recessions, then I think it was then how to overcome the problem. Yes, you see, like I was saying, Alvin Toffler talks about learning, relearning, and unlearning some things. True, you wake up one day, you're affected by a layoff. There's a recession in your country, in the globe is a recession. Overcoming the problem, yes, you have to be quick. You have to be quick to move into something that you feel you need actually to jump. So, for example, say you have been a scientist, like I'm a chemist myself, then something like that happens. Yeah, you look into your field. What else can you add value into yourself so that you become relevant again? You need to add value to yourself because in any career, everyone wants to get employed. They need to actually see the value that you give them. So, overcoming the problem, yes, you have to overcome the problem. But one thing that you have to do, maybe get unlearn things and relearn things, so that you become relevant to your industry or to yourself, so that you become marketable. Because you don't want to be unmarketable, so to say. You don't want to be someone who say, then, no, I'm stringent in my career. Like I want this or I am this. No, sometimes you just need some flexibility even in your career where you can say once some things like this happen, you can actually quickly move to the next level than to sit and say, I've been affected, I've been laid off, there's nothing that I can do because I'm a trained teacher. So there's a question again from Aman. What role do personal values and passions play in career decision making? So that's an important question, Aman. Personal values. Imagine you are someone who values life. Then you choose a career path where you want to become a hangman. I'm not sure if some guys around here understand what's a hangman. A hangman is someone like in prisons. I think they used to be in countries where they have to have these kind of laws where if you commit an offense, like say murder, they would hang you. So you value life. You don't want death. You don't want people to be killed, right? Then you choose a career path like a hangman. You see now, like it's not really like interesting anymore to you because what's happening here, your values and the path that you have chosen. So it's a matter of doing duty for duty's sake, which is quite dangerous. You don't want to be in a career where it's just duty for duty's sake. So it's important to understand your values. Values become very important in your decision making when you're making a decision about the career. Passions, yes, you have to be actually a career that is maybe to put it this way. If you are so passionate with something, I think that's the good start for you to actually then choose a career around that. Say, like, if you are passionate about, say, playing a guitar, you are so passionate to an extent that you don't even know the sun is out and the sun is now sunset. You are so passionate about it. I think that's where your career has to be. You have to actually understand with the passions that you have. This can help you to actually decide which career direction that you want to take. So passions, values, very important. Very, very important. You can't then say your values they go opposite the career that you're making. So most of the time that's when you have to even find out issues of like you don't have a social life anymore and you have fights at home. What you value? You value family. And you choose a career path that takes you away from home for 3 months, for 6 months, for a year. So your value is very, very important in the decision making in your career. I'm not sure if there's any more questions.
I think this is the end to the questions. So as we are the as we are near the closing ceremony, before we depart, we would like to thank Mr. Tinashe, Dinesh sir, Simran ma'am, Prajipta sir, and my responsibles team member for making this webinar a success. ADO connects you with stabilized professionals and offer a platform to earn from their journeys. So if anyone is interested, you can visit the website. We have shared a link in the chat box. We request you to give your valuable feedback. Once again, thank you everyone for joining. The webinar is now complete and you may now leave the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tinashe.